Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Collectors community. I'm your host, Nico, and joined with me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
Good. We're at episode 103 here. Just chugging along here, coming closer and closer to the end of the year. As I've been kind of hyping up and mentioning to everybody here at the top of the shows the last couple of episodes, make sure to tune in at the end of the year between Christmas and New Year's. We will be dropping our end of the year awards type show for Comic Shop Talk, where we highlight some of our favorite and not so favorite things. We have some fun categories that we kind of split things into to highlight, some of the comics that we talked about this past year on the show. I'll bust out some stats. You'll get to hear how many, some stats. Hopefully, I can pull together like last year, where it kind of highlights who, let's say how many times Chris picked whatever book as his
Yeah, what our
favorite
best
or
comics
something like
were.
that. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's always a good time. So make sure to tune in for that, guys. But next month in December, we'll give you guys an actual definitive date closer to of when those shows will be coming out, as we take the only week off that we do in the year, just because it gets a little wonky with the holiday release schedule. Like one week's always like not many comics, and then there's another week where they front load them. So we kind of combine 2 weeks together, and we'll hit you back up in the new year type of thing. So but yeah, make sure to tune in for that. That'll be a lot of fun. If you did want to go watch our show from last year, it is in the archives. It is on our playlist here on Late Night Collectors Community in our playlist. So definitely go check that out. Today we're going to be talking about the new comics for the week of November 15th, 2023. And as always, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. This is a weekly comic book review show where we get together, talk some comics every week, give you guys our thoughts and ratings on these books, show off some of the artwork. And because of all that, spoiler warning, as always, be forewarned. If you haven't read your books yet and you're, worried about getting spoiled, you can always read them and then come back and check out the video after the fact. Or, you might actually stumble onto something that you haven't heard about from listening to us. And even though we might talk about what happens, it might get you interested to check something out. It wasn't on your pull list. So it's always a good way to kind of go about things as well in that sense, right? But yeah, that all being said, Chris,
Right. Cheers. Let's talk
cheers.
some comics.
Talk some comics. All right. First up on the docket here today, we got Outsiders #1. I think it's just Outsiders, but it's basically Batman. It's, in the line of Batman and the Outsiders type books. Although this is basically Planetary. I don't know if you're familiar with that book, Chris. If that's new to you. Yeah, it was a book that Warren Ellis wrote for, who's now famously being canceled from the comic book industry. but he was a great writer. He wrote a series called Planetary years ago. This is part of like the Wildstorm line of books, like at the time when they had Wildstorm join in with DC. And this is very reminiscent of that, I'll say, this new Outsiders team. But what did you think of that, this one?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with either the Outsiders or how all this sort of fits in. I just kind of read it as a comic, and I didn't think it was too bad. It gave me a lot of X-Files sort of vibe there,
Yes.
and I didn't mind that at all. It's kind of get a bit of fallout of what happened to some of the Bat family. I guess that's whichever Batgirl that is, like Cassandra Cain or something.
Yeah, Batwoman. Yeah.
Or Batwoman, yeah, she's out there, and I guess he sort of offers her a deal. And, they go on their adventure. So I thought it was pretty good. I don't know. What do you think about it?
Yeah, you tapping into the X-Files vibe is very like, yeah, that is correct in the sense that Planetary basically was a team of like people that like looked into the weird of the world, the unexplained, the like mysteries that they couldn't get answers for, essentially. And that's basically what the book was. It was three people, like this book is three people, and but not actually like established characters prior to that book being a thing, because it was like the Wildstorm book, so they were
Yeah.
new characters to the DC universe. And that's basically what they did. They went on like these one and done type missions every issue, like looking into some sort of a weird occurrence somewhere in the world. So like that as a concept, I love that. I loved that book, Planetary. It's a really great comic book. For anybody that's never read it, definitely check that out. that's basically what they're trying to pull off here, in the sense that this is a new team outside of Batman, like the Batman and the Outsider teams have kind of basically have done. Sometimes Batman has actually led those teams, and it's just like another group outside of the Bat family. But this is with the planetary thing going on, which is, I'm kind of down for that as a concept. This as an issue in and of itself, though, for a first issue, it was fine. I don't think it was that great, but I do love the fact that they are using that as the whole concept behind this. Like, even in this page, like, and you don't need to have read Planetary to enjoy this, I think, but like, even this page, like, basically, what's his name? Luke Fox, which is, I think, Lucius Fox's son. I don't know if this is the one that was Batwing or not. I can't recall, but it might be. I can't remember, because he's got, I think, 2 sons, if I'm not mistaken. But it's Luke, right? This is Luke Fox, this one, isn't it?
I don't know. They're all like, aren't they part of the Batman of New York or something like that? Or
Well, this is one of Lucius Fox's sons, I believe. Like, basically the guy, who did all the tech stuff for Batman, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So, like, in the movies, and he was Morgan Freeman, right? So, like, that. This is basically him. He's the one that's kind of spearheading this team, like, with all the money and the resources and everything else. And Batwoman, of course, being like a military trained person, like, he brought her in. And I love Batwoman. Like, there's a great Detective Comics run that James Tynion wrote, where Batwoman's the leader of the team. So, like, I like her as being part of the team, or leader of the team, and everything like that. But like, even in this scene, like, he's wearing this white suit, who, like, one of the characters, Elijah Snow from Planetary, also rocked. And then the character, although she's a woman in this, and a different character altogether, called Drummer, that's in this issue, is literally the name of the person that was in Planetary as well. They were also called Drummer, and they were able to, like, communicate with, like, machines and shit like that. And that's basically what she does in this issue, right? So it's the same. It's basically Planetary with Batman characters, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's an interesting concept. But in this issue, it's kind of like the whole getting the band together. They go in, like, some nuclear reactor type core or something, like, and there's, like, again, like, some sort of moment where they interact with the machinery, and they get them to, like, stop whatever the fuck they're doing, because they took over all these, like a technovirus type thing or something like that, right? Like, something where, like, all these people, it wasn't 100%. I wasn't 100% clear on what was happening here, but it felt like a Planetary, like a weird type of mystery type of story, like, so it fit that in that sense. So I don't know. Well, I'll see. I didn't buy this. I read this digitally. I might read more. I do like the fact that it is Planetary again, because I was a fan of that series, but I don't know. For you, Chris, not knowing that stuff, I felt like maybe you didn't love this maybe as much in terms of the concept, or like,
no, I didn't mind the concept, but now that you're talking about it, it just sounds like it's a rip off of another comic, which I don't know if I'd be too happy about that if I did read all that Planetary stuff. Like, I think, it's just, the same story, just kind of refaced or something.
I mean, it's not even that, in the sense that it's not even as good as Planetary, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I like that as a concept. Like, I like that but the thing is, they're not really trying to, like, at the end, that's the book she's holding up, is the Planetary Guide. So they're not even shying away from the fact that this is fucking Planetary. Like, they literally show the Planetary book in the last panel of this issue. Yeah. So at least they're not like, oh yeah, that was never a thing, right? But, like, I don't know. So, but yes, it is basically that with Batman characters. So whether or not that appeals to you or not, I don't know. For me, I'm intrigued, but it's not like I'm gonna say, like, this is better than Planetary, because I have Planetary in high regard. Like, I hold that up in high regard, right? So this was just fine, I think, this first issue. But I'll see. I might continue reading it online. I'm intrigued. I'll say that.
Yeah, I might read it online, but there's nothing that really hooked me in to make me want to get to the next issue.
Yeah. What'd you give this out of 5?
I got a 3.5.
Same. I will say this, though. I didn't love the artist either in this issue. The art is like, not great. I think it's fine, but I don't think it's bad, but it's not my favorite either. All right. Immortal Thor number 4, Chris.
Oop, got my copy here.
So this was the first issue I had cut from my list. Read the issue digitally, and now I have my copy right here.
I think the bad one's the cut, though.
For fuck's sakes. Yes, I enjoyed it. But go ahead, Chris. That's why I picked it up. I was like, oh, this might be back on the list. finally, I'm like, this is the issue I needed. Like, this is the reason I cut this. It wasn't cut, anyways, go on. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good issue. I liked all the stuff with Storm there. Like you really get they really showcased her sort of power set that you don't, it's not like, stuff you don't really think about. And this Tornos guy or whatever his name is, I don't know, I guess he's starting to grow on me because he's not actually fighting. He's always just either coming, he's just the big threat that Thor's preparing for. And, just like I said, the stuff with Storm where they're kind of having a little battle there, and Storm's using kind of just like barometric pressure to crush Thor. And then Thor sort of explains his power and how much power he has, and he only uses it when he needs it, stuff like that. So that's good. The Beta Ray Bill stuff, can't go wrong with that. And, like, I guess this idea that they have to share this hammer because once they hold it, they only kind of keep the power of Thor for 60 seconds. So that's a fun little twist to the story when they are going to be, going to their full-on battle, is that they're going to have that hammer flying back and forth between all of them to keep them all sort of powered up.
Yes.
And that's all good. But that ending threw me, though, where, you're kind of right in the middle of the battle, and then there's some creature or something like that saying, I'm going to buy all my stuff. And the end is make mine Marvel. I don't know if that was a good ending. Like this, that could have ended just before all that stuff there. I don't know if that's like a throwback to something. I almost made it feel like that, this story might not even be happening. Someone's just writing this story or something like that,
I don't think that's the case, but because I think Roxxon was previously owned by like this guy that could turn into like a Minotaur type creature that was established in Jason Aaron's Thor run previous to this. I think that's kind of what they're doing at the end there. I thought it was a weird ending as well, but it kind of actually also kind of like intrigued me even more so, quite honestly. But yeah, you hit all the highlights for me, man. Like I said, this was the first issue I didn't have on my list. I fucking ran out to buy it after I read this online because I was like, okay, I got to pick this up. This was a pretty fucking good issue. I don't even like Storm all that much, but I thought she was awesome in this issue. So that should tell you.
It was the Storm Thor from, like, back, I think she was like Thor, I don't know if it was in a What If or like an X-Men annual or something like 20 years ago. But right back to that same costume, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, and these are all characters that have been associated with Thor that have held the hammer or been Thor, and it all tracks. It's excellent, and like you said, that whole fact that they could all share the power for a limited amount of time by getting the hammer at some point during this was a really cool addition to this. Yeah, by the end of it, I was just so pumped. I was just like, yeah, I can't wait for this fucking Thor core now. Like that they got me. It got me going, man. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, just when I kind of had enough of this series, this brought me back in. So we'll see. I might be picking up Thor again in issues. I'm gonna have to look at my current order and maybe add issue number 6 on my list again. And
by then the arc's gonna be over and be freaking some other crappy story.
I know, but like it lived to see another day because of this. Honestly, like I thought this was an excellent issue. And listen, I had faith in Al Ewing writing Thor. I like Al Ewing. I don't like everything he's written, but I like Thor, and I've been reading Thor for years now. So like me not really digging the start of this really had me down. But this is a good step in the right direction. I think there could be some interesting stuff that happens here. The art was good.
They could have got here a lot quicker. This could have been like the 3rd issue or the 2nd issue even.
I agree. I agree, but they got here. That's all I care about. So like, yeah, this is the next issue is more Thor core stuff according to the solicits. Yeah, this was good. So what'd you give us?
Thor core gets a 4.
Yeah, same. Yeah, 4 out of 5 for me as well. Yeah, Thor core all the way. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, next up we got big game number 5, big last issue here this week. I trade weighted this one, but I wouldn't have been disappointed if I bought the issues. I'll say that, but I usually just buy the trades of every Mark Millar book at this point because they're books I want to own and have on my shelf. I know that now, so I try to wait his out, and they're always like 5-issue series, so it's not like I'm waiting a long time for the collection, right? But Chris, what did you think of this finale of this series here?
Well, my biggest fear happened there. They undid everything. which I was hoping they wouldn't do, or at least maybe bring back
But
some of the characters. I
but
don't
it
mind
was
the way they undid it.
yeah, but I get it. I know you were saying that this whole time. That's why I knew you were going to open with that. But in the fashion that it all kind of unfolded, it wasn't as like loosey goosey as easy as
Yeah,
I had originally
yeah, like it
predicted.
wasn't those magic people just saying, "Oh, let there
Yes,
be light," and everybody's back again.
yes,
Like it was a good way they did it.
yes.
I get so with Hit, like there were some big things there. When Hit Girl got shot in the head, like I go, what the heck is this? I thought like she was an untouchable character,
Yeah.
and I thought all those other characters were all untouchables. My hope was that Mark Miller was just trying to wipe the slate clean. Keep a few powerful people there or something, and then start with whole something new. Like I don't really care for those ambassadors. I'm happy what happened with like Kick Axe was
Hey,
Kick
yeah,
Axe. That
yeah,
was a
that was
big story for
awesome.
him. So that's
Chris,
great. And
Chris, he reinvigorated an old property of his now though by inserting him as a
oh, for
member
sure,
of
yeah, I don't mind that at all.
into the ambassadors. That was my favorite part about this issue that
Yeah,
they made him America for the ambassadors, right? I was yeah, again, spoilers everybody. The kid from Kick-Ass, basically Matt Luzinski or whatever his fucking name is, he Dave Luzinski,
yeah,
he got superpowers in this. They gave him fucking superpowers, and therefore now he's a member of the ambassadors team and he represents America. That's awesome. That's an
yeah.
awesome fucking
All the other ambassadors could have stayed dead, and he could still be American ambassador for Kick or for the ambassadors.
what'd
Like
you
I don't
think of
mind.
well, I was gonna say, what'd you think of them taking out Nemesis though?
I didn't like, and it was just like what a quick punch or something.
He's
And
still alive though.
oh yeah, he's alive. He's in the hospital. I still like that. He's still crazy there. He's got like whatever 4,000 people on his list. So when he's good to go or when he's ready to write him again, it's I'll be waiting for that because he's gonna be coming out hardcore for that. And the only thing is that some of the stuff that I kind of went over my head as when all these heroes started coming out, I didn't know who all those heroes were. And that's I kind of missed that, but that's on me. That's not bad storytelling or anything. And at the end, what I really did like was the chronology of all the comics that sort of led up to this. That was interesting just to see, so you can kind of pick and choose what you want to read if some of those people or if some of those characters really kind of got to you. So, because like that magic stuff, those like they weren't really a big part of the story, but well, I guess they were because they decided to kind of
I would highly suggest checking out the Magic Order series. Even you, Chris, they're
yeah,
really
like
good. They're
it sounds
really
pretty
good.
good, and it seems like pretty decent characters. So as for a marketing ploy to kind of get everybody to read things, I thought that was a great idea. The story itself, it was good up until the end. I'm sure everybody has to come back alive. Like those vampire nightclub kids didn't come back either. I wouldn't be too upset about that. He's a smart enough guy. He can make a whole bunch of new stuff. But
Yeah. No, I'm with you mostly because like I agree in the sense that we were curious if he was going to dial it back. I was telling you the whole time I knew he was going to dial it back,
yeah,
but it wasn't as lazy as a fucking approach that I thought he was going to possibly take. That got me concerned. Like you were concerned he was going to do it. I was concerned in how he was going to do it. And so
yeah,
like for me, like I was pretty satisfied with how this all kind of came to be. It came to fruition here at the end of this mini series. And if anything, like I said, I think it just kind of it helped shuffle the deck chairs a little bit and kind of re-energized, reinvigorated some of these properties that I think have been sitting on the shelf for a while, like these other series that he's written a while ago. Like Dave, the kid who played that was Kick-Ass, hasn't actually been Kick-Ass for a long time. Like he hasn't actually put out like a Kick-Ass series. He did a Kick-Ass series with someone else who was a woman Kick-Ass. He even had his Hit Girl series
yeah,
that came out. But he hasn't really done Kick-Ass since Marvel. Like he hasn't done Kick-Ass. So like the fact that like at least this character is Kick-Ass, like Dave. So
yeah,
like so the fact that like he was able to bring him into the fold again, I thought that was really interesting. And like some of these characters like that like showed up in this, you're not going to see them ever again past this event. Like, honestly, like, I think some of them he's just done with altogether. So like it's fun that he got to play around with those characters once more, I think, for this mini series. But like the ones that I think are big success stories right now, like that were kind of front and center in this, in terms of like Magic Order is still, he's still been putting out series about that.
Yeah.
Ambassadors, his most recent thing. Nightclub is still going to have another series, right? Like Kick-Ass, like all these other guys that were kind of just in the mix, like, to your point, like you didn't know some of the characters, even in the last pages of this issue, like what the bad guy shows up in Hell, and he busts out these characters that hadn't showed up at all through Big Game on the last 2 pages that killed him in like the Afterlife, which was from a series called Reborn that Greg Capullo actually went and drawn that miniseries for him after he left DC. That one's not my favorite series, but to see them, like, even at the end, like, even me as a fan of who's read all these series, Chris, I was just like, oh, he said he was going to use everybody. We didn't see this guy. We didn't see this one. And literally within like the last 5 pages, he bust out like 3 different books of characters in like the last couple of pages. I was like, okay, he fucking did it. He pulled it off. There's a space hitman guy that shows up that's basically his Lobo. I forgot his name, but like, there's a
guy. Yeah,
because remember, they're like, oh yeah, they look exactly like I think they were referring to the Mandalorian. They look exactly like us, that show on TV, but we were first, right? You know what I mean? So that was a funny joke. So for me, as a fan of all this, but if you guys aren't a fan of Mark Millar's image work or anything like that, you don't maybe like how he doesn't really focus or go in depth on too many of his concepts, how they're kind of quick in and out entertaining books like they are, then I don't think that you would find anything good here, honestly. Like, I know you're new to a lot of his stuff too, Chris, but I just think like this is you're going to get the most out of this, I feel like, if you are a fan of his stuff. Otherwise, I still think it was a very entertaining miniseries. Like, and the art, oh man, the fucking art, it's great stuff. Yeah, this was crazy.
Yeah,
That's basically the Walking Dead shoot through the head, you know what I mean, move right there, right? So that's pretty cool. But yeah, here, these are final moments where they unveil the new Kick-Ass, the America's ambassador, right? He's got a new suit. It's kind of interesting. And he's actually got superpowers, something that he's never had, right? And there's Nemesis all laid up. That was awesome. I'm glad
that the big bad, when he goes into like some fairyland, is that something that that's something that went over my head too, where
that's what I was
shocked. Yeah.
That's what I was referring to. This was from a book called Reborn. Greg Capullo drew this book in the original one. This is from Reborn. This is I think it was like a 6-issue miniseries or something like that. Yeah, that's what I mean. Even in these final moments, he kind of busted out these characters that never showed throughout the whole series. Yeah. But basically, this girl, I think this one in all white that cuts his head off, she dies, and then she becomes like she's living in like some sort of an afterlife of some sort, and that's what this whole series was about. And the fact that he showed up, like, it's kind of like an in between, like a purgatory type of thing. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't know, man. I loved it. I thought the art was great. I thought it was an excellent ending, despite him kind of dialing it back. I didn't think he was going to kill all, but you're right. If he killed some of the people that he never plans on actually writing again he could have. He could have easily, right? But and then just kept some of the ones that he really cares about, or the ones that are confirmed to have Netflix shows coming out, right? Keep those guys around. But no, these other ones, not all your properties.
Even a few people like this Hut person, he just blew up in an explosion. You didn't really see him die. He could have been just kind of trapped under a freaking a pile of concrete for 10 years and just pop out whenever he wants. But that's what I would have preferred to happen. But I guess I'm not writing comics. I'm just reading them.
So what'd you give this out of 5?
I'll give it a 4.25, though. It's still good stuff.
I'll go 4.5 on this one. Excellent end, I thought. Really good stuff. I can't wait to pick up the trade. Next up, we got a very cheery Christmas story, The Deviant #1.
This is a tough read. Holy smokes.
Yeah, this is dark. This is honestly like one of the darker things I think I've read from him, and he's written some pretty fucked up things, but like in terms of horror. But yeah, this is pretty fucked up, this book. What'd you think?
Yeah, it's a good read though. It gets you. I'm looking forward to read the second one. It's got that I guess some guy that's accused of killing 2 kids 30 years ago or something, or 50 years ago. And
Yeah,
he's sitting in jail, and this guy's going there to interview him. So you get a bit of that kind of Silence of the Lambs sort of feel. And just the story itself is brutal. But then at the end, that guy, or the guy that's, I guess, been in jail for the last 50 years, he's kind of, I got the feeling that he said he didn't do it.
that's right.
And he's just been in jail, for a crime that he did, just because he was gay or something. And that's
Yes.
why they threw him in jail and threw away the key.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on, like in terms of like, I guess, because the main character that's even investigating this thing, that's writing a book on it, who's actually a graphic novel, like he is a comic book artist or writer, that is basically going there and getting his story. This guy that got caught for the killings in Milwaukee or something back in the day of that dressed up like a Santa and like lured people, I guess like gay boys or like just young boys or something like that, who is apparently gay. Like he's interviewing him. He's also gay, the main character, and so is the guy that's in jail. So he's kind of like having this conversation with him, like confiding in him, talking about this kind of shit. And you're right, he lets it slip at the end, like, oh yeah, but they never really caught the real guy, and he's still out there somewhere. Meanwhile, they cut to Chicago present day, because all this is what the woman finds in the department store in the 70s in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And then they cut to present day Chicago, where this guy, the guy who's doing this story, who's writing the comic or whatever, the graphic novel about this killer that's investigating him, like that's where he's living now. And then you're right, they show like a scene where somebody's working at a mall late at night, and he hears the chick, 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 like kind of like weird noise, like scruffling around, and it turns out to be the fucking same weirdo in a Santa suit that's in there, right? That's about to attack him at the end of this issue. So it's creepy. It's fucking creepy. And like again, the scene here that you see back in the day in the barn, like it's like naked young boys tied up with fucking Christmas decorations, all fucking, their guts coming out. It's fucking dark, this book. Like, so like that, like even that fucking scene, I was just like, whoa. Then it kind of gets like kind of like almost like Fargo-ish, like they're chasing him through the snow and shit, and like this weird guy in the set. Like even the look of him is really creepy.
It's creepy. Like that Slender Man or something. I don't know what's going on.
Like the way he moves is really fucking weird. I don't know, man. It's good. It's a good fucking book, and it's a 9-issue miniseries from Image Comics. I was impressed. I was like, okay, I'm totally in, like, right away on this one, because this was a dark kind of like grisly murder kind of like story. And even the dude that he's interviewing is kind of creepy, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of this is good. This is one of the better things I think I've read from James Tynion, and that says a lot, because he writes a lot of good stuff. I've even been enjoying World Tree. But like one issue in, this was an oversized issue too, guys. I think it was like $6 or something if you bought it, but it was totally worth it. And it takes place around the holidays. So really interesting stuff. So
not a Christmas story, that's for sure.
No, I mean, it does say that. It says a Christmas story on the cover. It does. I mean, it literally says that, right? Because that's fun that they're doing that. But this is the last scene here where the kid in present day is going through, like, I don't know, like the showers or something in the department store, and Buddy fucking creeps out behind the door here with the axe. Gross. Okay, what you give this out of 5?
That's a good 4.25.
Oh, 4.25 for me as well on this one. Next up, I picked up just based on the hype. I didn't actually pre-order this, but I saw that it was selling out all over the place, and I came across a copy in a shop, so I'm like, okay, I'll scoop it up just to make sure I'm not missing out on anything here. And that's G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero 301. I got the black and white cover variant of the I think it's the Andy Kubert cover. So I listen, the reason I didn't pick this up initially and pre-order it, even though I'm all in on the Energon universe stuff that Kirkman's kind of doing with G.I. Joe and Transformers, Void Rivals, and everything going on in Image, now that they got the rights to the comics, is because this is Larry Hama, who's written 300 issues of G.I. Joe, specifically A Real American Hero G.I. Joe comics. And he's gone from Marvel to, I think, Devil's Due to IDW, now over to Image with this series. And they've allowed him now to continue his story. And this is, even though it says first issue on the bottom there, it's the first issue of, it says 300 in small letters and first issue. It's literally 301. And guess what? It basically reads for the most part like a continuation of his story from 300, which he wrote over at IDW. So at times, for me, not being a huge G.I. Joe fan as well, like not really knowing too many of the characters and all that, at times I was lost of this in this issue. But I will say they did try to do a good job of at least mentioning all the characters. Like they even did, like the first few pages of the story was a rundown of kind of like current status quo, like, and they did like panels where they showed all the Joes, and then there was a whole page of all the bad guys, and like, so like they tried to kind of bring you in, but as soon as they were done that, it was just like off to the races, like here's where we left off type of deal. So like I was fucking lost at times, especially not knowing all these characters. And then at the end of the issue, what they did is they did a rundown and bio of like all the main characters, I think, going on right now, all the Joes and bad guys, which again helped. But I mean, it just unless you kind of were reading Larry Hama's G.I. Joe, I don't see what you would get out of this, honestly. Here's the one big thing about this issue, though, I'll point out. The artist, what's his name? Chris Mooneyham. Awesome fucking artist. This, I wish I could read this because his art is so fucking good. It's very reminiscent of Joe Kubert's style, and Andy Kubert, his son, obviously he drew the cover of this issue. This is like a blast out of the past, this guy's style. He's got like a very, if you know Joe Kubert's style at all, very Joe Kubert looking style. He wrote, like, obviously he'd drawn like Sergeant Rock and shit like that back in the day. Like he's like a really great artist, and like his style, Chris Mooneyham style, is very similar, I feel like, to like a Joe Kubert. So I love the visuals of this book. For anybody who's like a fan of Larry Hama's G.I. Joe, this is one, like, they are throwing money at good artists. The Kirkman has it, obviously. So he's got good people on these books, man. Like, this is not that Mooneyham's like a household name by any means, but this is a good fit for this book. I think this is one of the better artists that you probably will have seen on a G.I. Joe book in recent years, from what I've been hearing from people. So really, really good art. But yeah, other than that, nothing really here to cook me in. Based on that, I got to give this like a 3 out of 5. I want to give it more. I give the art a 5, but like, again, there wasn't much here to really entice me to continue with this. I won't be picking up issue 302, and I will confirm this has nothing to do with the Energon universe stuff. From what I've been hearing now is after those miniseries, the Duke and Cobra Commander, and maybe another one, like they have planned to kind of set up some main characters. There is going to be an ongoing G.I. Joe comic in 2024 that is not G.I. Joe, an American Hero, which is going to tie into the Energon universe stuff. So Larry Hama is going to have his corner where he's going to be writing the thing he's been writing for like 40 years now, which is awesome. Good for him. But there is going to be a G.I. Joe comic that's an ongoing that will be the Energon universe stuff outside of G.I. Joe and American Hero stuff. So that's really cool to hear. So I'm glad about that. But if you're into all the Energon universe stuff going on, this, you can skip this one. That's all I'll say about that. But I will be looking through the issues. I will be looking at online images because the art is fucking sick in this. I really enjoy the artist on this. I was a fan of Chris Mooneyham before this book. To hear that he was on this, I was like, oh, good for him. This is going to get a lot of looks, I think, for the hardcore G.I. Joe fans as a result. And here's the rundown they basically did of all the characters at the end. They kind of did like bios on everybody and stuff like that, which was really cool. So yeah, I mean, but if you're a big G.I. Joe fan, you might find something in this, honestly. But like, again, I think you have to have read what happened a little bit before like 301, right, to kind of really be interested. Next up, we got Geiger, Ground Zero #1. This is a 2-issue series that they're bringing out to kind of further flesh out the origin of this character, Geiger. That was Jeff John wrote a miniseries previously that was really good that I liked a lot. I talked about on the show. And this is them kind of returning to the character. And now it's going to spin out also into a bunch of other books by different creators as part of his his new line at Image Comics that are going to be different other characters in the same kind of world as this character that have like special abilities. So there looks to be some good books that might be coming out of this kind of stuff, out of the Jeff Johns label at Image Comics. So having really enjoyed the first miniseries, I checked this one out. They didn't really spend as much time talking about his past as a person, like prior to him becoming like this radioactive man in the main miniseries. They kind of glossed over it a little bit, and they kind of told you his origin. But this 2-issue thing is basically a primer, because it's been like a year or so, I guess, since the last miniseries, to kind of bring you back to this character. And they really went into detail about who he was as a person, as a father, as a husband, prior to this happening to him, and basically kind of further explaining his origin. So that's kind of what this issue was. And it was the same artist, Gary Frank, who drew the last miniseries. And if you're a fan of that, or if you're new to the character, like Chris, I know you said you might be interested in checking this out. This was a good place to start. I think like this was good of them to do, because while I feel like I read some of this already in the first miniseries, this was all new material, and it's kind of them just kind of taking a different approach to kind of telling you about this guy. So I really liked it. I thought it was well done and a good single issue. And there's one more. I think it's a 2-issue thing they're doing, and then it's going to spin out into all those other miniseries. And I think they're going to be continuing with this character as well and stuff. So yeah, good issue. Looking forward to the next one. I didn't buy this just because I bought the first trade paperback of the miniseries. I'm probably gonna trade weight these ones, but these are good. Some good teams, creative teams, and stuff. Looks like that's gonna be coming out of this Mad Ghost or whatever it's called. This his new label here at Image Comics. So I gave this 4 out of 5. It was solid. Chris, Fantastic Four 13.
Oh, Fantastic Four 13. I don't really think I ordered this one, but they threw it in my pile. And with Doctor Doom riding a Doctor Doom dinosaur, you got to give it to him. Yeah. So I didn't mind getting it. Then, it reminded me of the story. That was the second part of the story of, I guess, of this arc where there's a parallel universe where they're all dinosaurs. So some fun stuff here. I guess the dinosaurs come back, or the Justice, or not just the Avenger dinosaurs or the Avengers are fighting the Fantastic Four dinosaurs on Earth 616. They all, some good battles there. They end up all getting along, but the big deal is that Doom shows up, and Doom Dinosaur shows up, and they start getting on. And the one thing I didn't like so much is the trope they go to whenever you get two Dooms together, is that they're Doom and they can't trust each other. And now that's how they kind of, Doom has things all wrapped up. He has them both beat. He's going to do whatever his dastardly plan is, but he just has to work together with another Doom. And of course, he can't do it because they're both Doom,
Listen, it's a well-used trope for a reason. It's a classic. I agree with you, but I still, even though I seen it coming from a mile away, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a fun comic. I guess they use a fun trope in it to get out of it, but they got to save that. I just saw that a while ago, I guess, in that multiversal Avengers stuff, where at least there's that Doom above all. He's the one that goes there and beats all the Dooms. So, and then wasn't there another story where Doom he went back to his younger self? So it's all good stuff, but just seen too many times too soon.
I'd be hard pressed to point out a comic I had more fun with reading this week. As you know, I haven't been a huge fan of this version of the Fantastic Four. I think it's had its moments, but overall, I haven't loved this run. That being said, even the first issue, it was fine with the dinosaur stuff. It was fun and all, but this one I really enjoyed this one. I don't know. I think it was because of the Doom stuff, because you can't get any better than a Tyrannosaurus Rex Doom and Doom, like talking shit to the Fantastic Four. Like, I don't know. I really dug that. It is ridiculous. It is stupid, but I had so much fun reading it this week because we're talking about fucking books like The Deviant and Big Game, and the stakes are huge. And then you got this book with fucking Dinosaur Doom, right? So I thought this was like refreshing this week of all weeks, at least. And I was just in the right mood, I think, for it when I read it. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous, and I love it. So yeah, it was good. I mean, I don't need to read more of it. And it looks like at the end of this, they actually say that the year's over now and their family is going to be coming back from that dimension that they got put into. When that whole thing got screwed over and Reed Richards' family, his kids basically got transported away, right?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they be interesting to see how they emerge out of this situation. Who the hell knows what's been going on with them this whole time, right? So,
I don't plan on
anyways,
buying that one, but I'll probably read it to see what's going on. But even at this point, I don't really care. Like, I haven't missed them too much since they've been gone. But there's got to be some
no.
sort of fallout from, vaporizing a block or a city block for a year or two.
Yeah. So what'd you give this out of 5?
I give it a 4. Like I say, it was a fun issue.
I'll give it 4.25. Yeah, it was fun. Next up, Daredevil number 3.
Let's see here. I got it here somewhere. I did buy this one. This has been on the chopping block, but I think it might hang around for a little bit still. There's some fun. There's some weird stuff going on here. I still don't know why. They don't really get into why Ben Urich is acting so strangely. That can't really be him because you see a version of him in the Uncanny X-Men where he's a good guy, and here he's just every time they have any sort of scene with them, they always sort of paint him in a bad light, and and I guess there's a big bad that shows up at the end, so this might have some legs for at least the next few issues.
Yeah,
But
the ending
overall,
really.
yeah. Go on.
The ending. I was just gonna say the ending really helped me, like kind of like keep me going as well. But the issue was fine. Like it wasn't that bad. Already the main artist that they put on this book barely did any pages in this issue though, and it looks like I think they're going with another artist for the Bullseye stuff. So I'm not too disappointed by that. But the artist that they had doing most of the pages in this issue in particular looked a little stiff. So I think if they can get like a consistent artist on this book, it would help as well. But yeah, this was fine. It is still on the chopping block, depending on how these next couple of issues go. Like it's still on there. I haven't removed it. It's kind of like Thor in that regards. Like I took it off. I chopped it, and then now it's back into rotation. But it could go back on the block any moment, right? So like it's the retention. So yeah, we'll see, or we'll see what ends up happening with this. But it wasn't bad. But I'm with you. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna continue reading it for now. Again,
I like
this is
the
a
Daredevil
character
stuff. I just don't like his Matt Murdock stuff. Like and him being a priest to those kids. And then now that whatever it is, his priest friend is giving him trouble. He's out there freaking beating up that gang. He goes, oh, you only need to be one place right now, and that place is right here. And he's out there, freaking trying to save lives. Like, come on. What are you gonna guilt him with that for?
He's like surrounded by fucking guys you just beat the shit out of, and he's like, "How dare you leave these kids? You need to be here." And he's like on his phone. He's like, "What the fuck? Give me a third
Well, unless that's the way he breaks down and he says, "Get the hell out of here, you stupid kids." But I don't think that's gonna happen either.
This guy's dealing with a mass murderer now. Bullseye, for fuck's sakes. You think, like, you know what I mean? Like, listen, I don't have time for this shit.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, it's not working for you, bud. Like, it was better when you were a lawyer. So, like, you could literally choose your cases. You know what I mean? It's like now you have kids waiting for you at the church, right? You're not around. You should have been here to console this kid because he woke up from a nightmare. How dare you?
Yeah, how dare you? Oh, I'm sorry. I was freaking getting shot up by some freaking gang with their military grade weapons, and all I got is a billy club.
I know, right? It's true. No, I agree with you 100%. That's literally how it played out in this issue. I was like, what? I'm like, dude, you got to stop this fucking church business. That's enough of this. I agree with you. I think it's gonna run its course. It has to. It's not Murdoch, right? He's not gonna be able. You can't fucking be a priest by day, Daredevil by night, right? It's enough of this business. Right.
So, I'm not going to break. I'm not there either. I'm going to stop buying it, or those kids are going to be gone.
Well, what'd you give this?
Now that we talk about it, they like it more. I'll give it a 3.75. It would have been a 3.5.
Same. I was just thinking about to say the same thing. Yes. Yeah, I have to. 3.75 after that.
Okay. Get some bullseye
All
there.
right. Next up, we got Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos. Number 2. What'd you think of this?
That's a good story for Cap Wolf. I like the art though, with
Yeah.
with everything that's going on, and you know, what's there? I think at the end of the first one, Cap is telling them to shoot him, and they don't shoot him, and they go, "Oh, why didn't you shoot me?" He goes, "Oh, you're not my officer." But then they all come together as a team, and I don't know who the French resistance or is the French spy. I don't know, and the Dum Dum was so mad about that person being a spy. But doesn't Nick Fury end up being like the supreme spy of all? So that didn't really ring true for me.
Yeah.
And but hey, you got the Nazis turning into werewolves, and they're at Castle Wolfenstein or Wolfenhaus, whatever they want to call it. It's a fun read
Yeah.
for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. What's not to like? You got Nazis,
Yeah,
wolves, World War II. These are some interesting things there to see in the book, in the comic book, right? You got
yeah.
Cap as a werewolf.
The whole like with that witch there or whatever. I guess that's supplying them with the werewolf blood.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
we've got to
yeah.
stay in line with her. What is this girl doing here? Blah blah blah. Oh, 9 weeks.
Yeah, again, just like Fantastic Four, this was just a fun book for me to read this week. I enjoyed it, and it's a 4-issue miniseries, so it's not a huge
Yeah,
commitment, right? So yeah. I didn't order this initially. I read the first issue, liked it, picked it up, and now I'm picking up the rest of the miniseries. So like,
yeah. I'm just reading
but
this
if I
online.
still,
I'm just reading
even
this
if I
online. It's good for me.
yeah, even so, I mean, I would have been fine reading it online too, but I was like, yeah, you know what? This is pretty fun. I wanted to pick this up. So it's, listen, I like this issue. I don't think I liked it as much as the first issue, but I still think it was fun and consistent. And yeah, I think that 4 issues is the right amount of issues for something like this,
Yeah.
like a story to be told like this. So yeah, I'm on board for the rest. What'd you give this out of 5?
Let's go with 3.75. Wasn't bad.
Yeah, same. I'll go that much for this one. Next up, you got Fish Flies number 3. Chris, you said you also read this week. Did you
Yeah, I
read
read the
any
first
of?
one.
Okay.
I didn't read the second one, but after reading this one, I want to go back and read the second one. This is a good story, even though like if you're just jumping in, just the dialogue between there. It sort of reminds me of that sheriff from that what's that, No Country for Old Men or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Get
yeah,
that
yeah.
one cop there that he's just trying to do his job, and he goes to that guy's house, and the father of that little girl is a freaking drunk, and you know not treating her properly, and then she's running out. And I forget, is that the guy that turns into the fish fly? That's the mass murderer, though, right?
So the guy who accidentally shot the kid, or at least that's what
Yeah, or he was
like.
the criminal in the first issue, right?
Yeah, he was the guy at the store that ended up shooting the kid. That's who turned into the fish fly. So the guy that he is looking for, the cop that shows up at that man's house that the kid is hiding, is that guy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's just the way things are written. Even though you don't like that father, but when the cop shows up at his house and he's just giving the cop grief, you kind of go, yeah, get the hell out of my place. Cop showed up my door. I wouldn't want to give him anything. Like, you've been drinking. Yeah, what the hell? I'm drunk. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's
And,
true.
and it looks like there's some history between them too that
Yes.
maybe I missed in the second issue. And there's always still that suspense that they're going to go into the barn and find this giant fish fly. But just wacky things. You go in there, there's all the fish flies in the barn. That seems odd. And I still don't know where. Like, do they have a second barn or something? Because the little girl was out there with that fish fly guy,
Yeah,
and
there's
they
the
don't see
barn.
him or something.
There's
The barn
there's
in the
the barn.
silo or something.
Yes, exactly. That's what it is. I think he was hiding in the silo and not the barn, or vice versa. But
Yeah,
yeah, there's a silo and then there's a barn. So instead of the one I think that was directly behind their house, she hid him in the other thing, which I think was the silo or something. I think that's where he was hidden, which they kind of go into more in the second issue.
yeah.
Um, But yeah, listen, I mean, the fish fly stuff, the supernatural aspect to this is kind of like whatever for me, but it's really, like you pointed out, more of the human moments than anything that really kind of get you into this story, like the actual stuff that's happening outside of the fish fly stuff. But that stuff's fine too. But I just think,
Yeah,
like, being a big fan of Jeff Lemire, that's kind of where he shines. And I think that's kind of evident in this. He's writing and drawing this thing. And I think it's an enjoyable story as well. I'm glad you like it. You're liking it.
yeah,
not
and I feel
bad.
like he tries to get rid of the fish fly because it's not safe there, and then he comes back, and
Yeah.
just that one line, oh, no one ever comes back, and she's kind of happy that she's back, and then he's about to off the father, and he's like, oh no, you can't do that, but then they end up whatever, I guess we'll see later on. They end up taking off, and who knows where the story's going to go from here.
The only thing I'm curious about is whether or not this is actually happening or if this is in
Yeah,
her imagination. Right. So like that's the only thing that I don't know, if like this supernatural aspect is her just being a kid and
yeah,
imagining this man as a fish fly. And meanwhile, he's actually just somebody who wandered in injured after that whole altercation, and that she's been hiding. And now he kind of saw, like you said, he saw the whole thing between her and the father, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna take it upon myself to fucking try to help this kid. And that's where they've
yeah,
kind of gone to right now, right? But obviously, in the eyes of the law, this is fucked up. What's going on? This
yeah,
guy
for
just
sure.
abducted a kid, right? So like that's what I'm interested to see, like after killing one, right? So that, or almost killing one. He's in the hospital. It doesn't look good for him right now, anyways, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's going to be a
Uh,
big reveal at the end how this story plays out, and I'm down to figure out to see what they do.
yeah. So what did you because that's the only thing I will say about this. Now, if it does turn out to be an actual supernatural aspect to it, that's cool. But I
Yeah,
think but I think it would be even crazier if, because the only time we've seen that guy as a fish fly has been through the eyes of that girl.
yeah,
So, right? So I'm not sure if that's legit or not, right, at this
yeah.
point.
Like the
So
ending could be, that the guy like protecting the girl, and you see the cop show up, and the cop sees that it's a guy, and then you can just kind of infer that it's been
yeah,
a guy the whole time, and she's
right.
just been kind of imagining, or
Yeah,
who
I guess we'll
knows.
see. We'll see,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So yeah, I think this is a 6-issue miniseries. They're all oversized issues, so I think it may have been coming out bi-monthly at this point, like every 2 months. But yeah,
yeah,
it's been good. What'd you give this out of 5?
yeah. I give it a 4 for sure, easy.
Same. Yeah, good series. Yeah, 4 for me as well. And then quickly, I did want to talk about the conclusion of Arcade Kings. As always, I don't really have the art for this one because I'm never able to get the art for this one in time to put up. But Arcade Kings number 5, this is the conclusion of this mini series. I'm not sure if there's going to be more of this, honestly, by the end of it. Like, this was a personal project, like that Dylan Burnett drew and wrote. And he's primarily an artist. I think this is the first thing he drew and wrote that he put out. But he did put it out through Skybound, which is Robert Kirkman's imprint and image. So I don't know. I don't know if there's major support behind this, if the sales did well enough, because when you put out something that's creator owned, it's a little bit more high stakes in the sense that you're kind of fronting this work and you got to, like, you know what I mean? So if it doesn't sell well, it may not be worth, you might have to go and like take on some jobs from Marvel again. You know what I mean? So he was working with Donny Cates a lot previously. Like, he's the artist that helped basically create Cosmic Ghost Rider. Like, he did a series with Donny Cates that was Cosmic Ghost Rider, and he's a Toronto based artist. So I'm a big fan of, so I kind of liked this series and I supported it, but not sure if there's going to be more. But again, too, these were $8 issues because they were oversized, like double fucking size issues, like 48 pages. And for an unknown series or creator to some people, that's a big price tag to kind of get in on something. So, like, I'm sure that didn't help. But I mean, listen, like I said, I was familiar with his work enough to check it out. But basically, this is like a love letter to somebody who was a fan of anime and manga and like video games and this kind of stuff. And it was a satisfying conclusion about two brothers who kind of had a rough upbringing with a father who was basically training them to fight and was a piece of shit. And basically, this is them re-encountering their father after reconnecting later in their lives and taking him down in like some arcade style kind of like Street Fighter-esque fight here at the end of this last issue. So like for me, it was I think it stuck the landing. It was an enjoyable series. The art's really the highlight of it, and it's something that he kind of wanted to do, and as creator that I enjoy. So I'm happy that he was able to do it. But at the end, it isn't really clear whether or not there's going to be more. The volume that is coming out does say volume 1 on it, but I guess we'll see because he's going to be bringing out like the whole collection, which I'll probably end up double dipping and grabbing. But yeah, if this sounds like something that's interesting you, check it out because it is going to have a whole full trade of a big chunk of a story in there. And it was quite good, but it may not be for you if you don't like those type of themes, right? But if you like video games or you like it, cartoons, like animated shit, like I said, manga, anything like that, the style of the art and the types of stories that are being told will be very reminiscent to you. I'll give this a 3.75 out of 5. I think the whole series is a 4. I thought it was good. Next up, I got Wesley Dodds, Sandman #2. Again, another series that I think is like, great art. Riley Rossmo, a huge fan of his artwork. Not a character that I think you encounter all too much. This is basically them bringing back another GSA type of character from back in the day. Now he's been reimagined as the Sandman, which is that Neil Gaiman book, which is a Vertigo series, a very different take on this classic JSA type character. Where he's got like a gas gun and everything like that, and the mask from back in the day. And that's got a show now. So that most version of this character people know as the Sandman show from Neil Gaiman now, or the comic. But like, I can't say I've read too much stuff about Wesley Dodds, the Sandman. So this has been a fun miniseries so far. I think this is like a 6-issue miniseries. But again, the main highlight for me is Riley Rossmo on art. Great artist, interesting story being told. Robert Venditti writing this, who I'm a big fan of too, as a writer. I thought that it's been good. Basically, you find out in this that at the end of the last issue, Wesley Dodds' house got caught on fire. He finds out somebody, I guess, before the fire went in and stole all of his Sandman, like actual gear and stuff like that. So by the end of this issue, there's someone gallivanting around the city that's dressed up like him. That's basically, causing, trouble and making him look bad and trying to pretend like they're the Sandman when committing crimes when it's not him. And basically his whole life has been up and like is in a mess right now essentially. So that's kind of like the ongoing story currently in the miniseries. Yeah, here he is. He kind of looks like him, but he's got like a whole dark cape instead of the brown one that he's usually rocking or whatever color it is. But I gave this a 3.75 out of 5. Enjoyable series so far, but again, I'm mostly there for the art in this case. But I think the story has been good. And lastly, Batman and Robin #3. This is probably the last issue I'm reading about this. I think I picked up the first 2 issues, and this is my first one reading it digitally because I dropped it in issues. Again, like the artist as part of this, like Joshua Williamson as a writer, not really feeling this story though. Like amongst all the other Batman stuff going on right now, I'm not really in the mood for this whole Damian Batman relationship type stories. And even in this, like it was one of those things where like he's giving him shit, Chris, from the last issue. If you recall, he went back to school and he's like, oh, during like a team up at some point, he's like, oh, you should really be in class right now. You should go deal with that or go do your homework or something like that. And he's like, no, that's not happening. I need to help you take out these bad guys. It just doesn't hold up that fucking type of storyline. We've seen it done before. Listen, he's not gonna fucking waste his time doing that like at this point. And if he is, no one wants to read those stories. So like it just seems like a waste of fucking time. But again, great art on the book, and there is some fun superheroing type stuff going on in here, but very basic. Nothing I don't feel we've seen already before, even with these 2 characters interacting with one another. So for that, I'm out for now. I just, I don't need this. This is another flavor of a Batman book that's out on the stands right now. And if that is your kind of thing, then, this may be something that interests you. But for me right now, I'm good. I've already gotten lots of great Batman and Robin, Damian stories in the past. I don't feel like I need any more at this very moment in time. There's all kinds of weird shit going on with the character and the Zdarsky stuff right now, and these other mini series with really top-notch artists that I'm checking out. So I don't need to read this on top of all that. There's too many Batman books, right? I'm out on this one. So I give this a 3. Uncanny Avengers #4, Chris, as we move into the X-Men block of the episode. I got this Matteo Scalera cover here, which I'm a big fan of.
Right.
Yeah, I like that one.
I got my issue. Oh, here we go. I just got the cover A. Suppose it's like some homage to like Blade Runner or something.
Okay, cool.
But once again, I got to see what's happening here. I remember the big deal that happened in here is they reveal who Captain Krakoa is. But as for the other stuff that's going on, I'm sort of drawing a blank here. I was hoping to see some of these pages would help me figure things out. Oh yeah, it started
No,
out with that with Remy LeBeau and what Rogue kind of having a moment. I'm not a big fan of that, but anyways, they go their separate ways. And yeah, like once again, maybe I just read this one quickly or something.
I mean,
But
you got the main part of it. Is the main part of this is the reveal of Captain Krakoa, which spoilers once again, everybody.
yeah,
I'll mention it. Is fucking the Nazi Cap from Nick Spencer's Captain America, which is ridiculous.
so they say
That's
when
kind of
Captain America died during Judgment Day and brought back, then somehow that brought back the Nazi Steve Rogers or something. I think they alluded to something like that in there.
Yeah, it's the Hydra. It's the Hydra Steve Rogers. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's from Secret Empire,
yeah,
from
Secret
all that
Empire.
fucking that people fucking hated. There was so much public outcry bullshit over that, which was ridiculous. I feel like at the time, where it was just like, oh my god, Cap's a Nazi. Yeah, and guess what? In a few months, he won't be anymore because this
Yeah,
isn't a fucking actual Captain America. Like, it's just that's comics, folks. Like, come on.
yeah.
Like,
Well, that might have been one of the stories that got me back into comics. Like I didn't end up reading
right.
that, but I did hear about it. And then, and that was just like a slow burn from there for maybe like another year or so before I ended up in a comic shop to see what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Just because you hear all this crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't mind that story. I remember seeing that like on a Google tile feed or whatever in the, our feed of my news, Captain America saying Heil Hydra at the end. And hey, if I saw that comic around, I'd buy it. But yeah, here he shows up there, and I'm still down for everything that's going on in here. This Uncanny Avengers, it's been a fun read, and I'm liking it.
Yeah, but that's the main thing. I mean, the other kind of shit that happened in this issue is they took out some Orcus people,
Oh, and is
and
there
there
a
was like,
bomb or something that's underneath the ESU
yeah,
lab or something? It's still
and then there was like the whole thing with like Psylocke just used her swords to like hack the shit out of somebody, well, I gotta say the inclusion of Captain America on this team though is really fucking weird. Like, he would not stand for this shit.
yeah.
I think it's a very out of character Captain America in this comic, which is kind of fun, but like, this isn't your Boy Scout Captain America in
Yeah,
this
I think
one.
they
Like,
tried to explain that in the first issue. Like, when it comes to fascism, like, the gloves are off. I'm ready to, to let anything go. But
yeah, yeah,
it's like
yeah.
you say, it still
So
doesn't ring true as for Captain America.
no, so the fact that you got that version of Captain America in this, and then on top of that, you get Hydra Captain America at the end of this, like, it's kind of fun, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, other than that, then there was a whole scene with Deadpool getting killed. He gets his like with the shield, like
Walks off to the side. That's good
that was
stuff.
good. Yeah, it was. So, what'd you give this out of 5?
Give it a 3.75. Nothing great, but the big reveal. I think everybody's kind of saw that, or at least I read about people, in the first issue once Captain Krakoa came out there. But I'm saying it's good for Captain Krakoa because when he first came out
Yeah.
back in the X-Men, he was not one of my favorite characters. It's good that they did have a plan for him,
No,
even though it's a
no, as
bad.
as evidenced almost 100 episodes earlier, guys. When you check the archives, we even had an episode called Captain Krapoa, as Chris as Chris called him last year. So there you go. Yeah, I know we weren't a fan. I didn't see that coming, actually. I didn't hear that rumor. So like, for me, it was an actual genuine surprise. But as much as I didn't hate that era of Captain America, I also, like, I wouldn't say I groaned at the reveal of him, but I'm like, really? Like, like, he's
Yeah.
the guy, right? I was like, that's kind of weird. I just thought it was a weird choice, but yeah, I still give it a
Penrith's
3.75.
sister there, like all over him in the issue before too.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, anyways, next up we got Dark X-Men #4, Chris.
Once again, I don't know. This one hasn't been really hitting the spot for me. I thought it'd be a lot better. And like the inclusion of of Chasm in here. I thought he'd have a bigger role to play. They go
Yeah,
through all this work to try and get the Chasm. Oh, this is the one with Remy LeBeau. Sorry, I got mixed up with the last one.
that's
But for
okay.
whatever reason, I didn't get this issue. I might check it out with my comic shop there and see if maybe they just didn't put it in my box. But if they don't, I don't really mind. I was hoping a lot more out of this series. I remember reading the previews. I thought this was a big deal. Whatever this mutant here sucks them all away because whenever he explodes, everybody gets sucked into a different dimension. And, I guess there's an assault on the Limbo embassy. And, I do like when they do get to Chasm. Chasm's like, yeah, fuck this shit. I don't want any of that. I don't want any part of Madeline Pryor or anything that's going on. He basically goes back into the room that they got him trapped in. So I thought that was a good
Yeah,
scene there. Like, he goes, hey,
yeah,
I might not be a hero, but I ain't a fucking bad guy. So it's good to
yeah.
know that there's still something good in there. Because actually, at the end of the day, he still is Peter Parker. He can call himself Ben Parker or whatever he wants. But
Mhm.
but I'm still looking forward to it. I'm sure there's got to be a throwdown between Madeline Parker and this Queen Goblin. I don't know. They could have made her a lot better somehow. But
Yeah, it just felt like I'm more evil fucking Madeline Pryor showing
yeah,
up, and I'm just like, this is, I don't know, stupid. Yeah, this hasn't been clicking for me as much as I've wanted it to either, to be honest with you. And we've been saying that, I think, about this miniseries halfway through
yeah,
already, and I will, and again, yeah, I've been saying the same thing the whole time. I want to like this a lot more. Unfortunately, it's just it's not hitting that sweet spot for me either. So yeah, I've been reading it online, so it's fine. It's not a big fucking
yeah,
deal. Like, I'll read. There's one more issue to go. I'll stick with it, and then I know it's going to spin into that Dead X-Men miniseries, so we'll see what happens with that. But this, as it is, has not been that
yeah. Like
great, unfortunately.
this is like I'm not planning on buying that Dead X-Men now after this here for sure.
No, no. What'd you give this then?
Yeah, I give it a 3.25. I was expecting some
Yep.
at least decent splash pages or some art to get you through. You got Madeline Pryor running around in her black negligee. You'd think you'd get something out of this, but nothing.
Well, that's the thing. The artist that's doing it too isn't really good at the cheesecakey aspect of the art either, right? Yeah, I think he's really much more better at like the weird looking X-Men, like dark kind of aspect to this book. So
Yeah,
at least he got
you
that.
could draw the
But
Morlocks or something like that.
yeah, yeah. All right, next. Yeah, but I agree. 3.25. Next up, we got Alpha Flight number 4.
Let's see. Yep, I've been liking Alpha Flight. It sort of gives you I guess, the Canadian response to what's going on with Krakoa. Not very happy that the Canadian government just seems to be falling in step in line with this, but at least we have our heroes there, Alpha Flight trying to do the right thing. And I guess there's a big reveal here that I forget what her name is. That person who ever teleports is Guardian's wife. Yeah, like I'm not sure of the timeline of if they're still married or how things are going between them, but I guess they got secrets between them. And we see what's going on. They've got a bunch of mutants hidden away in what they call Krakoa North, and one of those mutants is getting a little antsy, and he steps out. That kind of reveals the situation, or reveals the location of all these mutants, and reveals, I guess, that Alpha Flight has been kind of trying to play both sides of the table. So things are coming to a head in the next issue, and I'm down for it.
Yeah, I didn't mind this issue. I haven't been loving this miniseries overall either. I've been bored by it, I feel like, at times. But and like, again, like Chris mentioned, I don't know. I don't understand why there's still got to be such heavily government kind of involvement in this. Although I know that's the whole Alpha Flight thing. I just think that
Yeah,
in today's status quo, even like not even just for Krakoa stuff, just to like in terms of government, I'm surprised that they're still going to go with that. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. It just seems like it's something that hasn't aged as well. Like having this team as the governmental team. Like, I
yeah,
think that,
it's still stuck in the '80s here. Like, they haven't
yeah,
moved on very
yeah.
far from the original Alpha Flight, where this is our government team. Especially with all that Weapon X stuff, that sort of kind of expanded that lore of what the Canadian government's actually doing for heroes or for villains or whatever. It's just
Right.
odd that nobody kind of pieced this together.
Yeah, to that point though, like they are going against them in the sense that they are like working together with the people that they're supposed to be
Yeah,
taking out, I guess. So there's that aspect to it. They're not like loyal in this, like in that sense, but like but still, like I just don't like. I think that we can go beyond that kind of that whole setup and do
yeah.
something much more interesting with these characters. But I liked this issue. Everything was coming together. Yeah, I did like it, and I'm looking forward to the conclusion. So
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't
like
bad.
being Vindicator Guardian, whatever they call him now, and
Yeah,
but I still give the issue 3.5.
same. Yeah, 3.5 for me as well. And then lastly, we got Superior Spider-Man #1. I went with this Stegman cover here. I think this is the only issue. This is the only issue I've ordered of this, which I'm happy about, honestly. So
Oh
yes,
yeah, well, I got this one
yeah.
here. I don't know if this is a
If you like
variant or not.
it, don't mean to bury the lead. Go ahead. If you liked it, good for you.
No, I
this is the
did
only one
like
I
it.
read. Good.
That's well, but like I say, I didn't read any of that Superior Spider-Man stuff. I don't know if they're laying in it thick here. Whenever they go back to Doc Ock as Spider-Man, I freaking think it's hilarious. And I don't know, somehow they got freaking that Billy Briggs there, the Spider Kid. I guess he was back in the time of the Superior Spider-Man, and that's just times that everybody forgot. I guess I don't know. Did I miss something there? Like, isn't there that one scene where freaking the Superior Spider-Man is just like freaking laying into the kid, and then I
That's
guess there's all the other Avengers or somebody that are all around. They're like, "Whoa,
uh,
Spidey, what's going on here, man?"
that's the thing. That's why I don't like this. That he wasn't around during Superior Spider-Man. This is
Yeah.
just like the other Spider-Boy shit where in the Spider-Verse
Well,
stuff where they're
everybody
like,
forgot. It's a
yeah,
very useful tool there, but I don't like that tool either.
it's exactly that. He wasn't actually around during Superior Spider-Man. He's just basically using
Yeah,
that
being
same
pretty
thing.
forced in there.
And again, like I get it, it's comic books, and it just seems weird coming from Dan Slott, the guy who did write this era of Spider-Man, for him to
Yeah,
now be like, oh yeah, there was this kid around back then. I don't know. You're right.
yeah. It feels like you sold out.
I'm mostly hating on this, I think, because of my past love of the Superior Spider-Man. But
Yeah,
the main reason I also didn't like this issue is like Spider-Boy's got his own fucking series now. Why is he in this fucking issue so much? Like, why is he here? And then the backup story was Spider-Boy. I just don't understand that either. Like the Bagley art actually looked good. Like the Bagley was good in this issue.
yeah,
Like I don't, he was fine. I don't know. I felt like what did I just buy? I thought this was Superior Spider-Man. Why is Spider-Boy in this?
yeah,
I just it makes no sense to me that they literally now have separated him in his own series, Chris, as you know, and that Dan Slott, I think, is also writing. Why is he fucking in this issue? Like, fucking make him go over there now. You could separate the two characters. I just don't think he has any place to be with Superior Spider-Man. I would much rather have this being an issue just of Superior Spider-Man. I think I would have liked it a
yeah.
lot more. Right? Like, that's all. That's
Well,
my
I do
gripe.
like that. With that Nova or whatever. What's that evil one? Is that Supernova or something? He's tracking down
Yeah.
Spider-Man, fighting him, and Spider-Man can't figure out what's going on. And then Doc Ock is in the background. He's like, "Holy smokes!" Which takes off. Goes, "Oh, she doesn't know it's me." And then he freaking beelines to the fight. He goes, "I got to see this." I love
Yeah.
that stuff there. And then when Supernova saying like, oh, how would you say to the cast is die? And then right away, freaking Spider-Man's like, I know what the hell's going on here. Hey, I got to talk to you and tell you what's happening here. But he's
Yeah.
not going to get a word in edgewise. And that's all great stuff too. So I did enjoy this comic more than I wanted to. Because I think I dropped this. I don't think I'll be buying it, but I'm liking where it's going. And then yeah, at
Listen,
the end, one of those Octoids kind of see Peter Parker freaking taking his mask off because he thinks his spider sense is going off because of supernova. So that just adds another thing, just to the Doc Ock, where he's trying to figure out what happened during his lost years. And that seems to be the key. Once he realizes that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, that just opens the floodgates to his memories. And I'll definitely be reading the rest of this online for sure.
Yeah, I might
Maybe-
continue reading it online, but I'm not gonna be picking it up. And all that stuff was great. Like a lot of the stuff you mentioned there, I did enjoy. Like and look at this page. Like it's good Bagley. Like I thought that was great. Like I just
Yeah,
wish it was more focused on. And I just don't. I just want more focus on this title. Like I don't know. Like they're telling us stories from the past, but then they're cutting into the present day stuff,
yeah,
and then they're also telling. And then you got Spider Boy. It's just like I just want them to be like, just tell us stories of fucking Doc Ock as Spider-Man again. Like I just
yeah,
think like this is fault. And Chris, we've already had that fucking lead-in issue, which was the issue before this, which was the special, which also did that kind of stuff. Then why
yeah,
didn't they just leave that all there and like start this series off on the right foot? And just been like, this is this story now. Like it just seemed like you had the opportunity to do that shit in the last issue, that special that we bought with the Ryan Stegman art, all the old creators, everybody that worked on that run all came back. That's great. Like let's celebrate it. And now, like, let's start a new story. Like, it just felt like, and I didn't like the fucking focus of this. Like, why is
yeah.
Spider Boy the main focus
Spider
of this?
Boy's getting the push, man. This is like wrestling.
Yeah. So
Spider Boy is
listen, I mean,
Roman Reigns, and nobody likes him.
yeah,
But you never
right,
know. He could
right.
turn into maybe Spider Boy could turn into Tribal Chief, where everybody loves him at the end.
Yeah, so
But
I'll yeah,
I
go ahead.
do feel that Spider Boy is getting a freaking push in everywhere, and it's
Sure.
just feeling forced. Like nobody
Yeah.
asked for the Spider Boy. Nobody wants the Spider Boy. I don't think anybody even likes this Spider Boy. And but he's getting pushed to the fucking roof. Just because his first appearance, everybody went haywire over it. You gotta blame the fans if nobody freaking or blame
Oh,
speculators. If that issue went nowhere, freaking Spider Boy wouldn't be in the comics right now.
yeah,
That's what I think,
yeah.
at least.
Hey, listen, I'm okay with that. I don't love speculators to begin with, anyways. So there you have it. Well, what'd you give this then? You liked it.
I did like it, but I'll give it a. Well, I can't give it a 4 though. I'll give it a 3.75.
I got to give it like a 3.25 because of all my
Yeah.
gripes. Like I think ultimately there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's like there's a personal gripes of like I liked Superior Spider-Man. I don't know what this is.
Well,
I
that's
didn't like
this is the only taste of Superior Spider-Man I've had, so I just love seeing
yeah.
any panel with him as Doc Ock. You know what I mean? I got to go back and read some of that stuff though. It's
Yeah, you
good.
do. Great era of Spider-Man. Great era. That whole Dias cast, all those lines that he
Yeah,
had. It's all great stuff. That's what I mean. Like I love that era. I just feel like this is like, you can't go back again sometimes. So like
yeah,
Dan Slott, like I get it. Like this is his creation. He is the one writing this. I want to like this a lot more than I am, right? So we'll
yeah,
see. We'll see what happens. I just get the fucking Spider Boy out of here out of this series. He has his own fucking series now. As soon as they started, like I saw that he spun out of Spider Verse and now he had his own series. I'm like, oh, okay, great. I don't need to read that one. It's going to be its own
yeah.
series now, right? Like, and now I'm like, I picked this up. I'm like, what the fuck? So,
I don't
what
know.
are you doing in this?
He's
Yeah,
gonna
they're
show up
really
at
pushing
ASM
it.
soon enough.
I thought the cover said Superior Spider Man, not Superior Spider Boy. What
Spider
the
Boy.
fuck is that? Yeah. Anyways, okay, Chris, let's take a look at some solicits here for new comic solicitations here. This is February 2023, I believe, this one. We're going to look at the Marvel ones here, guys.
All right, you gotta load that up for a second.
Yeah, man. All right. So shout out to comicreleases.com. That's normally the site we use to show off the solicitations. They do a good job of compiling it. I gotta say, the one thing I don't think they do a great job of that we do like to talk about on this show though is kind of collating all the variants of the certain variants for like that we like to show off, like that are also associated with these issues. Now, I don't know if they update the site as time goes on, and maybe it's just because we talk about this as soon as they get posted that they
Yeah,
don't have enough time to kind of collect. And truth be told, some of the variants they actually don't have the art for all the time at the start. I just think sometimes like some of the listings, we're looking at the listings and they don't correspond with the artwork that they do on this site. But small gripe. Otherwise, though, they do a really good job of putting everything together. So check this site out for your solicitations. They do a great job. This is comicreleases.com. So, all right. I'm not affiliated with them or anything either. I just think they do a good job. So,
do a
Ultimate
good
Black
job.
Panther. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
no,
uh, no Ultimate Black Panther #1. No,
no,
I'm out on this too. Ultimate Spider-Man 2. Yes.
yeah. Love that A cover though.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one
Is
with
that
the
like
green box.
that's Chichetto that did that cover, right? And he's
Oh
the
yeah,
artist of the story.
yeah.
There, that's getting me jazzed for this. I wasn't too thrilled about this Ultimate Spider-Man, but looking at that art there, I think it's be some good stuff.
Absolutely. I love Chichetto. What if Venom number 1 of 5? No.
No.
Avengers Twilight 3 of 6. Yes.
Yep. Some good covers there too. I guess it's an old Miss Marvel or Marvel Girl, whatever her name is.
Oh yeah, because it's in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Edge of Spider-Verse number 1 of 4.
Nah,
No.
man. I do want to buy it though, and probably will. But
You
I
you
know they're
bought
just freaking milking me, man.
you bought all the other ones. Well,
I
look at
know.
the cover though. That's a nice cover. That's a nice cover. I like that one.
Yeah, but even there, that Cyclops spider or whatever. Hate that. I hate being freaking squeezed.
I'm like, how many Edge of Spider-Verses are there? What's going on now?
I know. I thought the edge was over. That's why I was so happy about the last one. But anyway.
Fall of the House of X. Yes.
Yeah. Fucking awesome. Is that the Polaris one? Yeah.
Yeah, that is a nice cover. Nice. Rise of Powers of X. Yes, number 2. Yeah. Vengeance of the Moon Knight 2. No.
No. I should get into it.
Yeah, I guess this is Jed McKay continuing now. I think he dies at the end of the last run, and now he's going to be coming back. Yeah, okay, that's what that is. Night Thrasher, 1 of 4. Wow. What? The new Warriors Night Thrasher? That's awesome.
Who asked for this? Who pitched this idea and who said yes?
But yeah, I'm not going to check that out, no. Spider-Punk number 1. No. Has his fans, though. Very popular in the animated film. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, 1 of 4. I might read this online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might read this online because I did read the first trade of this run after like talking about the first couple of issues in the show and not sticking with it. It does get really good. And this is him continuing again, just like in a new like mini series. So I might check it out.
I think this could be a sleeper mini series, but I'm not buying it.
Yeah. Wolverine Madripoor Knights number 1.
Can't go back again.
No, yeah, that's one of those. This is one of those series written by fucking Chris Claremont of all people. There you go.
Why can't they just put him on something freaking good now and freaking use the stories?
I don't think it's aged well, his writing style. That's the problem, right? So Wolverine 43 online, yes. I'm reading this.
Yes, so by
Sabretooth 44. Yeah, this is the Sabretooth War. Nice. Looks Dead X-Men number 2.
No, sorry.
Might read it online. I don't know.
I'll probably read it online for sure, but
Resurrection of Magneto, I'm not buying.
No.
I don't know if I'm gonna read it just because it's a continuation of like X-Men Red, which I wasn't reading, right? So X-Force 49, yes. Reading this online.
I might be buying this one.
That's a nice cover. That's
back.
Yeah, that's him right there with Wonder Man of all fucking people. That's his boy. Oh, that sounds fun. I don't know. I can't buy the 49th issue or something. I want to, but I might be buying awesome.
Now. I've been wanting to get a X-Force.
Yeah, that looks awesome. That's awesome. Cable number 2. No. X-Men 31. Yes. Nice cover. Iron Man, still reading it online. You're picking it up now, right?
I'm probably buying this.
Well, War Machine, nice little roadie action.
He's in jail, so he's busting out. It looks like.
God's number 5. You out?
I'm out. I might try and read it online, but probably not even.
Yeah, I'll probably still buy it. Luke Cage, Gang War, no. Deadly Hands of Kung Fu Gang War, no. Amazing Spider-Man 43, yes.
Oh,
that's a cool cover.
Cover.
Yeah, that's very cool. Then you got the Disney ones. Daredevil Gang War 3, no. Spider-Woman 4, no.
I might get that that spider.
I was about to say, that's cool. That's, yeah. That is a good one. Yeah, that is a good one. Uh, Amazing Spider-Man 44. Yes.
Yep. I like that cover though too, the A cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Madame Mask. That's right. Miles Morales. No, that's a cool cover though. Hobgoblin one. That's
Yeah.
neat. No, but I'm not reading Miles Morales. Avengers. I might be reading this online now, but I'm not
Yeah.
picking it up. I dropped it now.
Yeah. This Avengers new team, I don't know. It's not clicking with me.
Yeah. Captain America. Yes, I'm still picking this up.
I might be just reading this online too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I got
Daredevil Black. Yeah, fair enough. Daredevil Black Armor number 4. Yeah, no.
what's
Sensational She-Hulk.
going on here. I'll probably read it. I don't know if I'll be buying this one.
Same. Daredevil 6. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Doc Strange. Nice. Women of Marvel number 1. All women characters written by women. Yeah, that's basically what this is. I might read it online. I like a lot of these characters. I don't know if I'll be picking this up though. Why is this cover here? See, like what?
That's got to be a mistake, I think.
Yeah. Captain Marvel number 5. No.
No.
Fantastic Four 17.
I might read this one because it's a good premise or whatever. At least the solicitation there reads good.
When construction unearths something unexpected, Susan Storm is called in not as a superhero but as an archaeologist. But when the
He
bones she
finds a dead
uncovers,
body.
oh yeah, could be the first arrival of humans in the Americas. Turn out to be female and matching her build and wearing the shredded and decayed remains of what appears to be blue fabric. Oh, okay. Dr. Susan Storm is going to die deep in Earth's prehistory. Interesting. Okay, yeah, that is interesting. Some of the one and done kind of like science and things that they've been doing in this series have been fun. I just think as a whole, I haven't loved the series, but I have been continuing to read it online, so there's that. So I might do that. But Giant Size Fantastic Four number 1, no.
No.
Spider Gwen Smash, no.
No.
Spider Boy, you're picking this up, Chris? You're a big Spider Boy fan.
This might be hitting the block too.
I am ordering number 3 though because of the Wolverine cover. I have ordered that one. So, Carnage number 4. No.
No.
Venom 30. You getting this still?
Yeah.
What is that? Dracula? What the fuck is that?
No, that's like a '90s Venom.
Greaser Venom. All right. What old school Punisher cover? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
White Widow number 4. No, I didn't like the first issue.
I'm getting that Rose Beach cover though, the second one there. I'm not sure if I've been buying the rest of them because I didn't really like that first White Widow, but
that's a nice cover. Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, that Rose Beach got some nice covers.
Superior Spider-Man number 4. You're sticking with this, right?
I'll probably just be reading this online too. This might not make the pull list.
Incredible Hulk 9. Are you out on this?
I don't know. I'm still pulling it, I think. Maybe that Greg Capullo there. The middle one,
I think. Is it not this one? It's this one. This is him.
Yeah,
right here, right? Yeah. That's a nice cover. Immortal Thor 7. I might be back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. Thor core action. I might be back on.
Still going. I'm in there still.
Oh, look at that cover. Oh.
Probably a War 25.
Probably, yeah. All right. Sentry, no.
No.
Thunderbolts. No, I like the Thunderbolts though. So here's a new thing too. I did want to mention that Marvel now is doing. Now they've always been kind of sneaky about whether or not when they announce books it's a mini series. But I don't know if you've noticed this trend, Chris. We even talked about a couple of the books tonight that was the case with. I recently found out the Punisher book that we talked about last week is a 4-issue mini series. They didn't announce it as such, but it's only a 4-issue mini series, which again I'm fine with. Yeah, it's only 4 issues.
Yeah, that makes it a lot better though. Yeah, I'm down for all 4 issues then.
So it's only 4 issues, which is fine. But the point I want to try to make is they've sneakily been changing their methods once again this past year. Always, like, again, they never really were upfront whether or not it's a miniseries. That's not new. But now what they're doing is the industry is shifting away from the traditional 6 or 5 issue miniseries, and now they're becoming 4 issues. A lot of these miniseries.
Yeah.
And what they're doing, Chris, instead of the $3.99 price tag, they're making them all $4.99. So they're making it $1 more, but for less issues. So you end up paying the same that you normally would for a 5 or a 6 issue miniseries, right? And the page count is going to be a little less, right? I don't know if I'm a fan of this whole 4 issue miniseries shift, right? I mean, but some I'm like, okay, yeah, this only needs that many, but we're also going to be hit with a heftier price tag for each issue, right? So I don't know. It is interesting how they're starting to do that, but like it leaked that the Punisher, I guess it was like on a solicited online or something like that, like digitally. It said 4 of 4 or 3, and they never announced it as such, right? So that's the new trend we're seeing now, guys. Is that a lot of 4 issue miniseries? So I don't know. Interesting to say the least. Anyways, Black Panther number 9, no. Thanos 3 of 4, no. Oh, see, but look in this solicit, Chris. They reference that girl as Death. She is Death. See, yeah. So that's what was going on in the first issue.
Yeah, but they didn't have to freaking blow the first issue, and then
yeah,
it kind of just sent you right out there.
I agree. Guardians of the Galaxy Annual number 1, no. Power Pack, no. Doctor Strange 12, yeah, I'm still getting this. Ooh, nice cover. Blade number 8, no. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars Battle World number 4, no. Got some facsimiles. This is a classic cover. This Uncanny X-Men with Wolverine, the Jim Lee one, and Captain America. I might have to actually pick this up, actually, because I don't have this issue.
That copy.
You have that? Nice. That's a good fucking cover.
That's a good issue. I remember that was one of my favorite X-Men stories.
Of course. I've read it. It's a sick one. Yeah. And I like this version of Black Widow at this time too, with that haircut and like, and the bodysuit. Yeah. Great era, Jim Lee art. Absolutely. This is a good cover too. The Secret Wars with Magneto. Yeah, absolutely. Predator, and it's Predator and Star Wars, which we don't usually get. Alien, all that kind of stuff. So there you go.
I've been looking through.
Not a huge solicit. Not a huge solicit.
See, like no super covers, but I'm happy for a light month.
Yeah, Punisher wasn't even in this one. See, I think it's done by now. Like,
is Mortal X-Men over?
I guess
no Mortal X-Men.
Yeah, it's not here. I guess it's
like
not
maybe
here,
I know maybe it's on pause because of the Powers of X and the House of X or whatever they're calling it.
Maybe. Here, let's quickly do DC because we're doing okay on time considering. Yeah, so let me just bring that up.
DC's got some good covers. They have like some sweater weather variant covers with some good covers in there.
Oh, really? Stay tuned next week, guys. If there's any of the other like publishers' books we want to highlight, like Image and stuff like that, those aren't out yet. So we'll talk about that next week, if anything. There's always not that many for those, anyways. So here we go. DC Batman 142. Yes.
Ooh, yes, Joker year 1. Here we go.
Oh, that's what this is called. Interesting. Okay. And Giuseppe Camicoli. Okay, yeah, I'm on board. Nice. Batman 143 as well. Yep.
Yeah. Well, there's the sweater weather for there, but
fucking thirst trap weather. Look at this. Yeah. All right. Batman 144. Is this weekly? Looks like it's like
3 I know. It's 3 weeks and freaking works on February, the shortest month.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's why. I think this is weekly that month. Yeah, the Joker year 1, you're gonna get it weekly. All right, that's not bad. I'm down. Okay, I'm down.
But come on.
Yeah. I know. Sinister Sons number 1. No. By the same team that brought us Super Sons, which was Damian and what's his name, Jonathan, when he was a kid. Peter Tomasi, I'm a big fan of, but I don't need to read a story about 2 super villain sons, which I think one is who is it again? It's General Zod and I think what's his name? The guy from Green Lantern. I can't. Why am I blanking on his fucking Sinestro? Yeah, I don't need to hear about their kids. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Suicide Squad: Kill Arkham Asylum number 1 by John Layman.
Maybe
I might read it online. Sounds fun.
Yeah, maybe that's an online.
Oh, this is a prequel to a video game. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's see. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. No. I'm out on that one. Batman Offworld number 4. Yes. Chris is, I think, maybe going to check it out online.
No.
Batman and Robin number 6. No.
6. Jesus Christ.
Batman Brave and the Bold number 10. No.
No.
Detective. No.
Good things
Nightwing
going on
111.
in Texas from what I hear.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like Batman's gone or something. I'm trying to. Anyways,
Nightwing 111. Yes.
might be
Oh,
out
I
again.
gotta get this one. You might be out again. Come
Well, I
on.
know. Well, I haven't. I didn't get it in. I think in January.
All right. Birds of Prey. Yes.
Oh, there. This is the sweater weather.
Let's take a look at this one. Is this a regular cover? This one? Oh, hey now. Is that like a one of something or no?
No, that's just it's their sweater weather variant. It's
Oh, I'm in
like
on
those
that.
chalet ones and Marvel just put out.
Yes. I'm in on that cover. Nice. Outsiders number 4. Like I said, I might be reading this online,
Yeah,
but I'm
I'll
not
read it
buying it.
online.
Interesting premise, anyways. Yeah, it is Batwing. Okay, that's what I thought. He's Batwing, yeah. Catwoman 62. No. Oh, is that the purple suit? It's back?
Maybe just for the cover.
Okay.
I'll still be reading this until I get him. I'm in and out of that.
Well, that's a nice one too. Penguin number 7. What? This was supposed to be a fucking 6-issue miniseries.
It's doing so well. They pulled a fast one on you.
That's what they fucking did. Well, I guess I'm gonna continue reading it then. It's been really fucking good. It has been good. So I'm gonna continue reading it. Yes, I'll pick this up. Yeah. That's bullshit. I hate when they do that though. Harley Quinn 37. Yes. Oh. I have no choice.
I know, but I'm out. This.
I don't blame you. Nice covers though. Poison Ivy 19. No.
I'll probably read this online still. It's a good story. But now the cover really got to wow me, to get me in there.
Yeah,
They've all had good covers.
Wesley Dodds, The Sandman number 5. I'm reading this online. Looking forward to the trade. Good covers. Good book. Jay Garrick, The Flash. No. Alan Scott, Green Lantern. No. Red Hood, The Hill number 1. Art by Sanford Green. Ooh, I like him. I don't think so, but is this a one-shot? 1 of 6. No, I'm out. He's good, though. The artist that's doing this miniseries is really fucking good. I will say that. I might check it out online, maybe. I don't really like the Red Hood all that much, but he's good. He's a good artist. Red Hood, The Hill. Yeah, this is the original, which Sean Martinborough also wrote. I did remember this book from back in the day. I've heard of this book. And I guess they're reprinting it, I guess, as a setup for this miniseries. Yeah, I guess that's what's happening here. Action Comics 1062. Jason Aaron. Yeah, I'm on for this.
Yeah, I might be in there. I'm into one, Superman or Action Comics. I'm not sure which one yet.
Superman 11. I might be reading this online, but I'm gonna be picking up Action now, I think, because of the Jason Aaron. Kneel Before Zod number 2. No. Batman Superman World's Finest number 24. Yeah. Yes. Dan Mora and the Still Kingdom Come stuff. Awesome.
They get that second cover there. That's the cover.
Yeah, I agree. What else? Power Girl 6. No.
Yeah,
Sweater Weather.
Yeah, that's a bad one. Come on, Power Girl, you can do better than that.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, 1 in 25. That's not even that great.
Fire and Ice. No. Wonder Woman 6. Yes.
Yes.
Well, what's the cover here?
Cover too. That A cover is awesome.
Yeah, I think so. This one. Yeah, that's sick. Yeah. Amazon's Attack. No.
No.
The Flash. No. Speed Force. No. Titans 8. I'm not buying it anymore. I might read it online. We'll see.
Yeah.
Green Arrow, no. Green Lantern, no. Green Lantern War Journal, no. Shazam 8. Probably still read it online. Blue Beetle, no. Batman 89, no. Superman 78, no. The Batman First Night #1. What the fuck is this now?
Something
No.
like Batman in freaking 1939 again.
Nah, I'm out on this. Batman City of Madness, no. This Constantine series, I'm probably gonna be picking up. I like John Constantine, so whether I read this in trade or issues, I'm definitely gonna be reading this. Batman, Scooby Doo, and that's it. That's gonna do it for our solicits for February 2023 for Marvel and DC. Everybody's not too bad actually. It's not that crazy of a month it looks like, and with some cuts coming up, shouldn't be that bad. So, Chris, what are you looking forward to reading next week, man?
Shoot, over here somewhere. Hold on. Oh, there it is. 1 second. I don't know. It's a lot of meat and potatoes comics next week, but I'm looking for Immortal X-Men 17, Amazing Spider-Man 38. I think that's the beginning of Gang War or something. So hopefully this arc doesn't. Hopefully the arc impresses. Let's say Hulk 6, Iron Man 12, She-Hulk 2, and World's Finest 21, Wonder Woman 3. Looking forward to that. That art in that one of Wonder Woman 3. Oof! I seen those solicitations or the previews. Looking great. I still got Nightwing 108 and Catwoman 59. I think I'm dropping those last two. They're hitting the bricks unless they got some covers coming my way. And maybe a couple other ones to read.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to I mean this week was not very DC heavy whatsoever. I didn't buy any actual DC books. I read a couple online, but so next week's heavy for DC. I got the new Batman Off-World #1 by Jason Aaron's first thing over at DC, which I'm really looking forward to. Batman Superman World's Finest, Harley Quinn Black, White, and Redder #5, Nightwing 108. Titans #5. I think I may have dropped it. If not, it's my last issue, I think, physically then picking up, but if not, I'll be reading it online. Wonder Woman 3, as Chris said, really fucking looking forward to that book. That's been great so far. Amazing Spider-Man 38. We'll see what happens with that, with this whole gang war stuff. Immortal X-Men 17, which has been great. Holy Roller #1 from Image Comics, which is a new Rick Remender book with Andy Samberg co-writing it with them. That's the one where I think he's like he's a guy that beats the shit out of Nazis with a fucking bowling ball. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm a big fan of Remender. I don't know what Andy Samberg's gonna add to that, but I'm a Remender fan, so I'm in it for that at least.
Like
I
Andy
like Andy.
Samberg, the comedian.
Yeah. I like him. I mean, I like Andy Samberg too, but
Yeah.
oh, thank you. Cheers. I like him too, but it just seems weird that he's co-writing a book with him, right? But Universal Monsters Dracula #2 and Void Rivals #6.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll probably do that.
It's a big week, and then maybe some things online. That's everything I'm physically picking up. So yeah, there you go. That's what we got next week. All right, Chris, it's that time. That's that time. What was your favorite book of the week, Chris?
I don't know. It's a tough week. There was nothing that really stood out. I might have to give it to a book that I didn't buy.
Okay, go ahead.
I think I might give it to Fish Flies.
Wow.
The book that's stuck in my head.
Here, I'll hold it up for you. Fish Flies #3. Wow. All right. Shout out to Chris here for picking this Jeff Lemire book. Yeah, I'm proud of you, Chris. You've come a long way. No, I'm a big fan. I enjoy it, so I'm happy that you picked it. Oh, fuck. For me, there's only one standout, honestly, this week. I mean, there was a few good contenders, but the only standout for me this week is also a book I didn't buy. Maybe you could hold it up if you have it over there. And that's Big Game #5. For me, that was hands down the best book, the best looking book this week. And I thought it was a satisfying conclusion to a miniseries we've been enjoying. So it might even be one of the only ones I've actually given my favorite of the week to. Maybe I give it to one other issue in this miniseries. I can't remember, but I think it kept coming out on weeks where I'm like, yeah, no, it just didn't make the cut. But Don't shake your head over there. It was a good fucking miniseries. So
That's good. That was a good miniseries. You bailed at the end, though, man.
Whatever. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. And we'll see you guys next week as always. And make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And yeah, thanks. Later.
All right. Cheers.